In this video, I want to talk to you about 5 essential skills that any homeowner and DIY aficionado should cultivate in themselves. And you know what? It has nothing to do with practicality, because these 5 points sit underneath of any practical skills or tools or materials you use, and they really make a huge difference, the hugest difference of all, in fact. Number 1, organization. This is just so critical, and it applies on different levels. When I say organization, I might mean having a place for every tool so you know where they are. Having a place where there are consumable supplies for that tool, like sanding belts or grinding discs or saw blades or anything like that. Because if you want a tool, if you need a tool, you want to know where it is. And then you don't want to find, oh, I got the saw, but the blades are all toast. So organization on a tool level, organization on a project level. Laying it all out ahead of time. Identifying the materials you need, having those materials available at the right time. These are all facets of organization and absolutely key if you want to rise above just the bumbling level and actually get something worthwhile done, something that's going to be satisfying to you, improve the value and beauty of your home, and just improve your life all around. Number 2, proactivity. Now, what do I mean by being proactive? Well, that means looking around and seeing, the weather stripping on that window came off. Don't say, I will get to that, because that's just basically adding it to a pile of little things that are going to build up all around you. Every home needs constant attention, some more, some less, but the more that you can take care of right away or schedule it to take care of right away, the better. It's kind of like you've seen in arcades and fun parks and things like this. There's this game called Whack-A-Mole, where these little fuzzy moles pop up, and the idea is to bop them over the head before they go back down again. It's kind of like that with not everything, but a lot of things in the DIY world. Oh, that piece of trim is loose. Okay, I'm just going to grab a nail and fix that. Or, oh yeah, that little spot on the wall, that ding in the drywall, I'm going to swish a little bit of compound on that, let it dry, come back, sand it off later. You see, tackle everything that's possible to tackle when you notice it, or at least schedule a time to do that. So be proactive. Don't wait for things to build up. I've seen households where this is not followed, and it's basically a disaster. And a disaster that leads to feelings of overwhelmment and just not getting on top of things with no hope of doing that. So proactivity, really important. Number 3, nook and cranny thinking. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, you're a do-it-yourselfer. You're not a professional, but you want to take care of your home. You want to tackle projects and things like this. So you need to be able to find some time to do that. And I don't know about you, but there's a tendency to say, well, gosh, I only have an hour before supper, or, I'm going to be going to bed in an hour. It's not really worth me getting going. But I've learned over the years that that is, in fact, not true. I have done so much work around my own house in the nooks and crannies of my day. So I've got half an hour. I'm going to maybe put on another piece of trim if I have that work to do. Or, I got 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon before it's time to go and visit someone for a dinner party. Okay, I'm going to start digging that hole for the fence that I plan to build. It's absolutely amazing what you can get done in the nooks and crannies of your day. And I should mention too, I'm on YouTube here, so it's kind of shooting myself in the foot, but the more time you spend looking at entertainment online, that comes directly out of your DIY progress. So be very careful about your digital use, but also realize that even little bits of time here and there in your day can add up enormously. I have completed big projects spending no more than 2 hours at a time completing them. So trust me, it works. Number 4, cultivate a DIR philosophy. By DIR, I mean do it right. And there's a strong and persistent tendency that I've noticed amongst DIYers to also be frugal. Too frugal, maybe. And that's kind of one of the reasons why you would want to do things yourself, to save money. You can generally save about at least half of the price of a renovation or an improvement if you're only buying materials and you do the work on your own time. But don't take that frugality too far. It's very important to use good materials, above code even, because code requirements for renovations and construction, they are minimums. They are not the ideal. So go above code in some cases. Good materials, methodically applied. A well thought out plan. The plan is very important for how you proceed with some projects. So doing it right is key. There is enough DIY junk out there that we don't need any more. If you're gonna do DIY, make sure it's also DIR. Number 5, make yourself overwhelmment proof. Now, do-it-yourself work can be small things. They can be very big things too. I know regular non-professional homeowners who've built entire additions onto their house or finished their basement entirely on their own. DIY can involve big projects, and what I've noticed is that people who aren't used to trade work, they're not used to manual skills on a professional level, they tend to look at something, even a fairly small job, and think, "Ooh, wow, that's a big job. It's overwhelming." It's not necessary to think that way at all. Whether you do the work or someone else does the work, the mind behind the work knows how not to get overwhelmed. And how do you not get overwhelmed? Well, don't look at the big picture all the time. Now, you do need to look at the big picture in order to make plans, especially for big projects. But once you have your marching orders for, say, today or the next week, don't think beyond that. You know, as you're working on the floor, say, installing some subfloor tiles on your basement, you think, well, I got 2 square feet now, only 1,000 more square feet to do. Like, that's just you're shooting yourself in the foot again with that. Take it one step at a time and have faith in something. And the faith that you need to have is, if I just put one foot in front of the other as efficiently as possible in the right order, completion will happen. You don't have to worry about completion. And this is a powerful way to avoid overwhelmment. There's another thing, it's a saying. Some people attribute this to Abraham Lincoln. I'm not really sure who said it, but it goes like this. The good thing about the future is that it only comes one day at a time. That's a very powerful philosophy, and not just for avoiding overwhelmment in DIY work, but just life in general. When life in general gets overwhelming, well, just throttle back on your timeline. Just intentionally don't think about the future. Displace it with some other sort of thought. It's an amazingly powerful technique, and it will work well for you. And you put these 5 points together, and with a good DIY plan, some good tools and good materials, you'll have a lot of fun making your home better than ever. And with your own hands, big bonus there, you'll get a lot more satisfaction out of it. So if you've liked what you've heard here, you want to hear more, join me regularly. Subscribe, hit the notifications bell, ask me questions in the comments. I do look at those comments every day, and I answer all of them or almost all of them. So let's connect and see if we can do good things with each other.